You don't conquer fear by avoiding it. You conquer it by riding straight through. Because beyond fear is freedom. Trade fearlessly at capital.com.
Hello everyone, welcome along to Abu Dhabi, to Fahid Island and the Water Sports Festival for day number 2 of our Wingfoil World Tour. It's the final day, potentially, of action for both our men and women, and we're looking forward to getting the guys out on the water in just a few minutes' time. My name is Ben Costanjuris, Liam Dredge, our expert, alongside me for what hopes to crown a champion today, and certainly we're going to have a lot of compact and exciting action out on the water. Now, we have already had 2 eliminations for the women and 1 elimination from the men yesterday, and let's see how it went down.
The crystal clear waters of Abu Dhabi's Fahid Island offer a dramatic stage for conclusion of the GWA Wingfoil FreeFly-Slalom season.
Here in Abu Dhabi for the FreeFly-Slalom, we're going to be starting off with our elimination rounds. With the men, we're looking to complete at least 4 eliminations, maybe 7 depending on conditions. 4 eliminations will give the men 1 discard. For the women, it's 1 big heat. From the results here on these eliminations, it will factor in their positioning in the ladder, and then they'll progress through to what we call the super final. Once our riders have made it through to the super final, it's all about getting 2 wins. The one who performed the best in the elimination process already has 1 win, and if you're in second place during the elimination process, you already have that spot in the final. The others have to battle it out in the quarters.
The racetrack close to the beach will test riders to the full and keep the spectators locked in.
Hi, I'm Mia Suardias. We're right now here in Abu Dhabi. I'm super excited to start the last competition of the year of FreeFly-Slalom. I'm currently ranked 1st, won the last 2 competitions, so pretty excited for this one. We have pretty light wind here, so not my best conditions to wing in. But yeah, really excited to finish up the year, hopefully being world champion. Right now my biggest rival is Kylie. She's ranked second, so yeah, she's right behind me.
The Spanish Nia Suardias is the current world champion, but her opening foray on the track doesn't go as she hopes. In the first race, she starts well, but she's too tight to an early mark and takes a wrong turn, allowing her rivals through.
Suardias there in the blue, but she's gone too. Yeah, she's wrapped around.
France's Kylie Belouver comes into Abu Dhabi ranked number 2. She is the biggest winner from Suardias' mistake. Belouver keeps her nerve to take the opening win.
It's going to be
for
tight.
Second position. I don't know who got that. I think Made Ars.
Made Ars crosses the line second, with the Austrian Viola Lipic in 3rd. For Suardias, the day's second race starts much better, and she has a healthy lead for much of the way. The Spaniard is harried all the way by Belouver, looking for every opportunity to pass and hoping to force a mistake. At the end of the pump track, Suardias cracks and Belouver slips past on the inside to take the win.
Kylie was up on the foil and Nina struggled to get up there. Nia drops into the water. Kylie takes the victory, number 2.
She's got to be careful here because she's going to drop down from 2nd potentially into 3rd, and she has done as well.
On the race to the line, Suardias drops another place to Lipic.
I've been quite lucky recently. I had this type of condition, so I've trained a lot in this, and I feel like this is what made the difference today. And yeah, nothing is done yet, but I mean, I'm happy to secure these 2 first places on the 2 first eliminations. So yeah, I mean, I think I didn't make mistakes.
been an incredible year so far. I won the first 2 stops, the first one in Leucate and the second one in Fuerteventura. So I came here with a bit of kind of a pressure, but let's say I've been doing a good job in the last couple of years, the first part of the year. So I'm pretty confident and I've been training a lot, so I'm ready for it. I've been training a lot in light wind, and I know in the past this was one of my, let's say, favorite condition, even if I'm one of the heaviest guy. Right now I feel more comfortable in middle wind, I would say 50 knots up above. Under it, I'm one of the heaviest, so definitely I have a slightly less advantage. But on the other side, thanks to my sponsor, I have the right gear for it. I just got a new wing here, a bigger wing for me. I have a big board and my foils are ready for it. So thanks to the gear, I would say that now this gap is way less, and hopefully I will be able to perform in this condition.
Reigning men's world champion, Francesco Capuzzo, also has a faltering start. The Italian makes it to the first elimination round final.
Also, they're managing to claim second place.
But after that, things go awry. Fellow Italian, Alessandro Tomasi, leads almost all the way down the track and looks to have a win in the bag. France's Bastien Escoffier never gives up, hoping for a chance to pass. Tomasi makes a costly error as he rounds the final mark after the pump track and touches down.
Goes down.
Escoffier flies past to take the win. He's followed over the line by Sebastiano Zorzi, Nicolo Spanu, Riccardo Zorzi, and Julian Ratotti. Tomasi finally limps across the line in 6th. Capuzzo finishes 9th after failing. It's a disappointing start to his world title campaign.
Found myself with my wing in a weird position, out of the pumping. I was getting off the foil. I didn't have the power in the wing because I was straight, same direction of the wind. So yeah, happens, but it was very tricky because it's really light wind. In fact, many people struggled as me, and yeah, I finished in 6th, I think, which is fine.
The coming days' action will no doubt deliver more upsets, thrills, and spills.
So one elimination for the men, and Bastien Escoffier taking the win in that one. Francesco Capuzzo will be hoping, as will Alan Fedit, to be getting up to at least 4 eliminations. That will allow us to drop a score, and they will be wanting to do that. Let's take a look at the course then. The committee boat closest to us is the start line. It's moved slightly, Liam, from yesterday.
Yeah, and also we're stretching over those breaches as well. So, in the riders' meeting this morning, it was discussed that having those breaches a little bit longer, allowing riders to gain a little bit more speed, catch each other up on those straights after those marks. But yeah, we've just extended it by a couple of marks, and the pump track still remains at the end of the course. And we saw that yesterday, quite a few little hiccups for some of our riders back there.
Yeah, it's always a big challenge moving into the pump area, especially we see the women. And then that switch to go down towards the finishing line, that seemingly also a big challenge if you're on the wrong foot, and a crucial part of the course.
And from above here, you can see, the sandbanks either side, the course sort of nicely through. Event site there on the right where we are. And we're looking forward to getting underway with our slalom races here, as we'll begin with elimination number 2 of the men. Wind is still on the lighter side, as we've seen throughout the week, but I reckon we've got at least sort of maybe 10 to 12 knots out there, and it is gradually building as we go forward into the afternoon. But we have seen so far that around 4 o'clock, the wind tends to drop. But here we go, elimination number 2. Heat number 1, we've got Sebastiano Zorzi finishing in 2nd place at the moment after his elimination number 1. A couple of other big names, Alessandro Tomasi, another quick rider out there. Galito Estrello also comes from that windsurfing background, multiple world champion there, also pretty quick when it comes to slalom. And Alan Fedit, we saw him on the podium earlier on during Abu Dhabi in e-foil, and he's now switching over to the Wingfoil.
So of that entry list, Sebastian Zorzi finishing in 2nd, and Nicola Spanu finishing in 3rd position in our first elimination. We continue to wait for the committee boat to get themselves in a position to start our racing. Say a little bit further upwind than we were yesterday, giving us a bit more space in that channel. Most of this all created for the big Alder Properties development that is going to be here over the next couple of years. And therefore, they're actually digging out bays and marina sites for the ability to have your boat alongside your property, as you would do in many a marina.
So you can see AP flag at the moment flying on the sports committee boat. So not quite just there yet, but all riders are out waiting. So as soon as that goes down, we then go into sequence, starting with the red flag. And then you'll see the yellow flag when there's less than a minute to go. And then it's all about the timing and that having a fast start where riders all cross the line simultaneously.
Committee boat just trying to get themselves into position and get that anchor attached to the sand underneath. It is such a thin sand as well that we have seen over the last few days. A few markers dragging at times, and it's difficult to get a real hold on the bottom. But once they do so, the athletes will get up onto their boards and start competing. There are the three Vayu athletes with their big red wings. Oscar Leclerc, Thomas Proust, and Keenan Ursoy, the third of our athletes. Some choosing to stay up on the foil and ride around, others just chilling out in the water. The water, by the way, 31 degrees.
Yeah, it's like a huge bathtub out there.
It's amazing. And the beach club down at Fahid Island also open to the public with a big screen to enjoy the action coming straight from lookers left to lookers right across in front of them. So they've got their beers or their coffees in hand and enjoying the action, and it's open all the way through the weekend. So an opportunity for the locals once the weekend begins and they're not stuck inside the office to come down. But we do see in the evenings, post office, that the place fills up a little bit with people enjoying the last of the rays before the sundown.
Yeah, sundown roughly comes at around 5:30, 6. Local time at the moment is coming up to 3:30, so we'd like to think that we've got a solid 2 hours of competition in us, which should mean, getting through, a handful of the women's eliminations. They've done 2 already, and I'd like to think we can push for 2 of the men's, which would give us 3 eliminations overall. We are hoping to push for the 4th if we can, because when you have that 4th elimination on the men's side, it allows for a discard. And as we mentioned earlier today, at the start of this stream, Francesco Capuzzo will be looking for that discard because he is in for a world title shot. Worth mentioning, we will be crowning our world champions here in Abu Dhabi. And Francesco Capuzzo currently leading the rankings with 2,940 points. Hot on his heels, Julian Ratotti with 2,910. Third place at the moment, Bastien Escofet, 2,670. Oscar Leclerc's in 4th with 2,580. And then the other riders out there follow in sequence. But as it stands, let's say if the wind's completely shut down and nothing else happened, with Bastien Escofet's elimination win yesterday, he would be the world champion.
We still do have, for the Wingfoilers, 3 more days of competition available, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. The window doesn't shut until the end of the competition. The freestylers have not started their competition either. That's more of a concern. And then across the weekend, there'll be some wake foiling, which of course doesn't need wind, so we can run that in the mornings. So expecting an early start on Saturday and Sunday. Even if the beach club itself doesn't open till 1 o'clock, we will be running the competition. AP flag continues to fly. They haven't quite got their anchor down by the looks of things on that committee boat, but they are either pulling it up or having another crack at it.
Yeah, committee boats just seems to be drifting at the moment, which is why that AP flag is up. So they're just settling themselves, and then we'll be getting underway. It's been a busy week so far. We've had Hydrofoil Big Air, where we crowned our world champions. Hugo Wigglesworth on the men's side, Andrea Zust on the women's side. We also kicked off with SFT, the Surf Foil Tour, where we had the E-Foil Racing, amateurs and pros on the weekend. And the Wake Foil comes back this weekend. We've got our prize giving for the hydrofoil big air as well later today. So if you are watching at home now and you want to come down and see our world champions take their trophies, you can come down today at 5 o'clock local time down here in Fahid Island. Maybe get a little photo or two of some of these pro riders. We've got all the freestylers here. And I can see as well a couple of them outside on the right-hand side of the competition area, just getting a bit of training in, along with some of our hydrofoil riders as well, just enjoying the conditions at the moment here in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, men's freestyle has been released. There is still the possibility of running the women's competition if so desired by race director. But I think their focus probably is now on wing. Here is the results after that first final yesterday. Bastien Escoffier ahead of Sebastiano Zorzi and Nicola Spanu in third position, with Riccardo Zorzi finishing ahead of Ratotti in fifth. Tomasi dropped it, as you saw in the highlights, from first down to sixth. Estrella seventh, Oscar Leclerc eighth, and Francesco Capuzzo ninth, with Benjime finishing in 10th position in the final. I think there's actually a points issue on there. There was 10 points offered for ninth and 10 points offered for 10th, so maybe a little thing to look at. Looks like we've got a second boat coming out.
It's all happening, isn't it, with the boats?
To try and help the first boat anchor up. There is the Fahid Beach Club, the only thing on Fahid Island at the moment. It was opened last November, and really comfortable, really cool place to hang out. If I was living here, this would definitely be a place I would be coming down to often.
Especially from 5 o'clock onwards when the DJ starts.
Pumping. Yeah, there's actually a band playing every day. Not at the moment because it's prayer time. But there is a band on a big stage each day, as well as the DJ within the beach club itself. So plenty of entertainment. Off the water as well as on. We've had clinics for both adults and children across the week from some of our leading athletes, trying to get the locals perhaps more into their water sports. And it's actually a really great place to learn. You know, it's not ever going to be raging winds here. It's just not the way it is. But it is enough wind to start your water sports journey.
Exactly. I mean, especially on the kite surfing side, if you want to learn kiting, a lot of people sort of get put off by the, flying a kite and, it generating the power when you turn it. But here, especially in the flat water as well, that makes it a lot easier to learn with those board starts. Flying a bigger kite as well moves a lot slower. Whereas when it's really, really strong, you want to fly a smaller kite, but it sort of reacts like a wasp up there. So really nice conditions, as you say, for learning. It's super warm, super flat. The wind doesn't really get, I would say, higher than between 15 and 18 knots on a good day. They have experienced, though, strong winds coming through, but at this time of year, it sort of sits between around that 15-knot mark.
Whilst we wait for the competition to begin, let's take a quick break and thank some of our partners.
You don't conquer fear by avoiding it. You conquer it by riding straight through. Because beyond fear is freedom. Trade fearlessly at capital.com.
Big thank you to capital.com, long-time partner of the GKA and GWA, and the CTO here this week, enjoying his water sports. Bit of a conflab going on down on the water as to how they might get this boat attached. It's slightly different start line to yesterday, a bit further up the upwind. So a slightly different area perhaps to try and get that anchor sorted. Maybe swapping boats as well. I have a second boat. But yeah, that's not the angle in which they want the start line to look, I don't think.
It's always the way, isn't it? You know,
That's
when all
not
the
too
riders
bad.
are there.
Not too bad.
Now we've got to wait patiently. Once we do the first round of this elimination, we go straight into the second with the men, and then we have the mini-final and final. But just between that, we have the women's elimination, and then we go mini-final and final.
No. It's the other way around, isn't it? Don't confuse me, Liam. Don't know the problem from yesterday. Ray's director explained to me yesterday, actually, that the reason why they go final and then mini-final, which defies logic, is because the wind is better earlier as it's tailing off, and he's in that situation where at the end of the day the wind is dying. He'd prefer to give better wind to the finalists over the mini-finalists, and so would push the final before the mini-final, and that is how it is programmed for today.
Looks like the guys have managed to anchor up now. Don't see any AP flag, so the AP flag looks to be down, which tells me that we could potentially go into sequence very shortly. Riders starting to hover around that committee boat. They've all got watches on as well, which keeps an eye on the time, which they have to start. So it looks like we're going into sequence now. AP down. Keep your eyes on that committee boat because very, very shortly you'll see that red flag go up.
Wonder if we can get that entry list back up and remind ourselves who's in this. It was a while ago that we told you who was in this first heat for the men. There we go. Sebastian Zorzi. Tomasi looking to get a good one after his disappointment in the final of the first elimination. Alan Feditz there. Benji May. Golito Estredo. As I say, Nicolas Spanu was third in the first elimination.
Yeah, he was nice and quick. So red flag now is up. We are in sequence for the first heat of the day, second heat for the GWA riders. Slightly longer course today, expecting nothing but tight-knit racing from start to finish.
Now, the secret here is to get your timing right. Experiment with how long it takes from the line away to a set point. You use certain things on the land to work out how far you have traveled from the starting line. And then you use that guesstimation in this condition and these winds to then predict the turning point to then attack that line and be across the line just before the green flag flies.
Yellow flag. So keep your eye on those riders. They all start to sort of circle around together, and very shortly you'll see them all snip into frame and fire their way across that start line. Here you go, yellow flag.
They actually preferred the other mark in yesterday's racing. They preferred to be away from the committee boat to have that inside for the first right turn. And they stayed away from committee boat end. Interesting that quite a lot of our athletes sitting dead in the water. I think some of those may not be competing and in this. I think that's some of the women actually getting out of the way.
Yeah, I think what they're waiting for as well is that yellow flag to go down. And then they'll have that last minute, set their watches. So there we go. So yellow flag down. So we're in the last minute now. So now you'll probably see those riders come up to foil. They've started their timers. And less than a minute.
Getting action back underway here in Fahid Island with the second elimination of our men's, divided into two heats. Top 5 go through to the final. Bottom athletes go through into the mini-final. So top 5 is the important part. There's no points awarded for this first heat, but where you finish matters a lot. Got to get himself up on the foil, though. A little bit of work going on from our duotone athlete there in the middle of the shot. That's Golito Estredo.
Yeah, he's got to...
4, 3, 2, 1.
And I think that's a clean start then. Golito having to tack away. General recall. So not a good start.
Must be because of the Golito error there. I mean, awful timing there from Golito.
Golito was over the line. He cannot be within a triangle, and the triangle is front of the line towards the first mark. So effectively he was. So he'll get a warning for that. And the athletes now just be careful not to disappear too much. Hopefully they've been able to see the flag. And if we, I don't know if we've got a replay from the other angle of that, but let's have a look at Golito Estrella's error here. So look at that yellow and pink wing coming from left to right, getting up onto the foil.
Yeah, he really struggled. You see how much how he's having to pump. He is also, you know, slightly one of the heavier guys, let's say, out there. And you'll see green flag goes up, and he's only just tacked round. There you go. There it is. Green flag. He's going the other direction.
But he's not allowed in that triangle 30 seconds before that green flag. So he was definitely in that triangle at that point. Here's the drone shot. So crossing over the start line now, about there. And he's having to do that. He's having to carry on because he's not on the foil. He's found himself in an awkward position. Now the rest of the athletes head towards the line. They start bearing away a little bit because they're a bit early.
It looks like all of them had a pretty terrible start, to be honest.
And so a general recall then. And the red flag back up in sequence to try and get that race underway again. Now, Alessandro will get a warning for that, or will he get a penalty? Golito, sorry, not Alessandro. I think it's just a warning for the first time. Can't do that twice though.
Yeah, quite a few of those riders having to bear away a little bit, not going past that start line at full speed. It looks like they all just were a few seconds off the timing, but it always takes, you know, a little heat to get into the groove, get into the runnings of things. But yellow flag now, when that goes down, less than a minute to go. PRO there, Maxi Gomez, part of the sports team, in control of the flags.
Got a GoPro attached to his hat.
Yep.
And that is for any indiscretions of crossing the line. You've got a record of what he is looking at, and he is the truth of that imaginary line between the back of this boat and the mark which dictates the start. All of the athletes up there upwind, preparing themselves, even the ones in the second heat, and indeed the women. We've got 5 women here. So they don't get heats, they go straight into their final of the elimination. So kind of more logical because they're just going and getting points for that race straight away.
Yeah, every elimination counts for the women. And we had a really good last race of the day yesterday where we saw, I mean, it all came down just after that pumping track. Unfortunately, Nia Suardias came off her foil and it just opened up the gate for Kylie just to nip in and get her second win. So she basically, she won both eliminations there for the women. And the two of them are actually battling for that world title, along with Mardiate.
Yellow flag is down. 30 seconds before we get heat number 1 underway. No athletes anywhere near the line at the moment. Slightly different strategy, all up on the foil, all comfortably sailing. And now they come towards the line to get this heat number 1 underway.
Yeah, good start there from our riders, and that's a lot cleaner up for those front runners. Yellow helmet with that duotone wing. Looks like it could there be Benjamin May.
So he's on the outside, though, and he's going to give water to Roman Gio here, or Nicolas Spanu on the inside, the two Gastra athletes, and it is one of those that is leading. Alessandro Tomasi in second position. And it's Sebastiano Zorzi who leads.
Yeah, with his brother as well, Riccardo Zorzi, who's going to be in the next heat. Sebastiano leading this one, Alessandro in second place. It's quite a tight-knit race at this moment. You know, all riders still very much in it.
So a good start from Benji May, but you can see he's dropped down to fourth and he's getting interference from the athletes around him. The the air coming off those wings and onto him means being in fourth position is not a great place to be. Behind him is Nicholas Spanu, who had such a good first one, and Benji May nearly dropping off the foil there.
Yeah, slightly sloppy foot change when he came around that mark, which just made that nose of the board touch down on the water, and those costly mini-seconds means that he's still in fifth place, but fifth place is good
okay.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, top 5, so they don't have to battle too much, but you definitely don't want to be coming off the foil now. As you see, no change in the lineup. Sebastiano Zorzi goes around the mark with Alessandro Tomasi in that second place. Your top 4 there look like they've got it all pretty much figured out.
It's whether anybody in 5th or 6th have any issues. Of course, top 5 go through to the main final, and the rest go through to the mini-final. You just don't want to be in the mini-final. Change of position for 3rd spot. Benji May comes through in 5th position. And that is Alan Fedit with the number 4 on his back and the AFS kite as we come into the pumping section now for the first time. Zorzi it is that leads. Tomasi struggling a little bit with the pumping section there, and he loses a position to the second of the gastro athletes, which is Nicolas Spanu. So that's obviously where Spanu is really, really strong.
Yeah,
and there we go, over the line.
Section there.
That's the end. And as Benjamin May dropped a position. I don't know if he dropped to 5th or not, but he was losing a spot as they came across the line. And that is it. Race 1 done.
Good race there. I mean, you can see, you know, conditions, you know, they are slightly windier than yesterday. And I do think that the additional couple of marks that we've added in on this course, paired with the breaches being slightly longer, has allowed a good race there. We can see plenty of speed kept through the straights, the markers nice and tight. But I'm just curious to see what happened with that 5th position there, if Benjamin May was able to snatch it or not. Here we go. Here's the start. Look how quick Benjamin May comes out there.
Yeah, had the speed, but doesn't have the positioning coming into mark number 1. And look, gets crowded out. 1, 2, 3 athletes down his inside.
Yeah.
Drops to 4th position, and then once sailing, loses another position. Fedit is directly ahead of him in 3rd. And then round the final mark for Zorzi and heads towards the line. And he heads up towards the committee boat. Fedit in 3rd position. 2nd for Tomasi.
I'm pretty sure Benjamin May should be safe there. It does look like he managed to get it. But waiting on the official results to come through.
And meanwhile, 30 seconds before heat number 2, the rest of the men going up against each other. Look out in this one for Escoffier, for Julian Ratotti, and Capuzzo is in here as well.
This is a huge heat, this one.
And they're right out on the shallows there, trying to get as much momentum as they can towards the line. There is the entry list, but we want to see the start. 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's a good start and great positioning from Julian Ratotti, closest to the mark. He's got the inside. It doesn't look from this position like he's particularly in a good position, but as they get to that mark, he might get crowded out a little bit here on the inside, but I think that is good from that black and white stripes. It is, and it is Ratotti that leads.
Yeah, they all know as well, all they need is a top 5 finish. You can see Capuzzo there in that gong with the pink. Looks like Bastien Escovet there with the gong and the blue.
And look at Oscar Leclerc from 4th position into that 2nd mark. He moves into the lead so fast, downwind.
Ratotti now in 2nd place, chasing Leclerc. But Leclerc on these straights looks like he's got a few more knots of wind to play with, and he's just about extending that lead. Francesco Capuzzo 3rd, Bastien Escovet comes round in 4th. Teammate of Oscar, also one of the Vayu riders there in 5th. Oh, Capuzzo nearly losing it. He has to keep it together here. He needs to make that final. He needs a top 5 finish here. He cannot afford having another bad elimination as a discard.
Thomas Proust comes through in 5th position. That means Jeremy Rodriguez is heading towards the mini-final for the moment, but everything can change when they get into that pumping section. Ratotti will be frustrated that Oscar Leclerc was able to find the pace in that first mark to get him ahead. It was such a good start from Ratotti. And now Capuzzo is starting to challenge. But you don't need to go elbow to elbow at this stage, do you? Because that will really compromise you. Here comes Bastien Escoffier on his teammate at Gong. Needs to be just respectful here.
Oh, look at Oscar there. Looks like he's got a foil drive on his board. He's going that fast on the pumping section.
Slightly unconventional, having the wing over his head and forward. That helps him grab it, and it's going to be a win for Oscar Leclerc over the line. In second position comes Ratotti. Third will go to Capuzzo, with fourth to Bastien Escoffier. And the fifth position, Proust has dropped off the foil, and he loses it at the last moment. And into the mini-final for Proust. Over the line there in sixth position. And there is Rodriguez with the North. So who stole that last move?
It was Gong, one of the Gong boys.
Raul, I think, wasn't it? White and pink wing.
Oh, what a killer there for Thomas.
And it shows that all the smallest of margins, the smallest error, and you find yourself either in or out. Yellow flag, 2 minutes until our women begin. Here's a quick look at some of the highlights from that previous one. And look at the positioning of Ratotti. So good, down the inside, takes Mark 1, but then watch the red wing on the outside here.
Yeah, he absolutely flies here. Oscar Leclerc got that inside line and just motors along through this section of the course, cutting in the inside line of Ratotti. Capuzzo there in third place, goes a little bit wide, but knows he just needs a top 5 finish with Bastien Escoffier just hot on his heels. You're really having to see some of these sort of heavier riders work both the wing. They're pumping the wing, they're pumping the board, trying to generate that apparent wins.
So it was Ancor Sosa who came through at the end and grabbed 5th position. Raul was down the back, that's why we couldn't find him. And Ancor Sosa, let's have a look at that little error right at the end there from Proust dropping off the foil. Sosa's still sailing and gets himself a 5th position and progresses through into the final. He wasn't in the final in elimination number 1, so good news. Waiting for the women now. 5 women: Viola Lipic, Kylie Belouvre, Nina Swadiev, Marta Lath, and Oren Ceris.
Yeah, so Ricardo Zorzi there on that second, he had a DNF, so he did not finish. And here are the women. So 5 of them. Elimination number 3. Kylie has 2 bullets to her name, let's say, in these eliminations.
So basically that means she's won both. Viola Lipic sits second in the standings, 1 point ahead of Marta Lath. Nina Swadiev is in 4th right now. She needs a big result here after a 5th and a 3rd. More pace there from Swadiev in the middle. Kylie Belouvre has made a really poor start. She's going to have to come from right to the tail of the field with that purple wing, but look how fast she is sailing.
Yeah, she's absolutely flying up there. She's going to cut right in front of Mar on this first turn. Here she goes, bears off downwind, gets that inside line over Mar, and now she's hunting Nia down as they come round this first corner. Kylie there starting to gain a little bit more speed on Nia with Mar in 3rd place. It's the 2 duotones and the Neil Pride in the middle.
To tell the difference this time with the light blue for Nina Swadiev and the dark blue for Marta Lath, as they were both using in Fuerteventura. They had their opening weekend in France in May or end of April even, and then Fuerteventura in the middle of July, and rounding out their season here. No changes as they come through these big tacks, downwind. But it's the pump track where all the trouble has occurred so far in our races. Swadiev struggling there and falling off the foil. There is Belouvre. Doesn't look like she's going to be challenging for the moment, not pushing too hard, just playing it safe. But every one of these races counts, not like the men where you have heats and then finals. This effectively is a final. That means points towards the super final that the women will participate in for the medals.
And this is elimination 3, so when they get up again for elimination number 4, they'll be able to discard their worst results so far. For Kylie, it's looking like it's going to be a second place, but it will give Nia a discard on her worst performance yet. But with a win here, that will help massively chasing for that victory.
Spectacular to see the best women in the world and how they handle their wings and their foils. Going into the pumping section, has to switch feet because you want a preferred foot forward when you're in this pumping zone.
Yeah, what that does really well after the pumping track as well, she doesn't then have to move her feet for the last turn. She just whips the wing and she's already heel side. So she's able to quickly get, you'll see Kylie also doing the same. And then when you come out of that pumping track, you can grab your wing, not focus on your feet, and fly over that finish line.
It is Swadias who takes victory number 1 for her in elimination number 3. Belouv in second position, Ma in third, and Viola in fourth. Oran Cerise way out the back, I'm afraid. The French athlete who is so celebrated in the world of wing foiling, partner to Alan Fedit, and they've got their 2-month-old baby with them this week. And here's some replays then. Kylie really far back.
Really slow start there from Kylie, but you can see just how much speed she has when she's really flying along. I mean, gets into second place, which was great from, you know, being at the back of the pack at the start. But Nia was just in a league of her own on that elimination there. She just had it all fine-tuned and in place. Ma in third, Viola in fourth, Oran in fifth.
There's that transition out of the pumping section back into sailing mode. That's where Kylie snatched a victory yesterday. But all 4 of our women at the front there handling it nicely. It's just a short shoot down to the finish line. And there was your results of elimination number 3 for the women. Now we turn our attention to the men's final. 10 athletes, 5 from heat number 1, top 5 from heat number 2.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Big race here. Green flag goes up, and again, we have a nice close start. Look at Ratotti on the left-hand side there.
Ratotti's got himself downwind of the rest of the field and sailing faster. He might not be able to snatch the lead like he did in his heat, but certainly another good position from the Frenchman. He rounds the first mark in second position. It's, I think, Romain Gio, perhaps, who is leading the fleet.
Yeah, maybe as well, Alessandro Tomasi. It's quite hard to see with those wings, but it's very tight. I mean, I can't see Capuzzo there. I think he's at the back.
Yeah, Capuzzo underneath us, isn't it? That's Bastien Escofet underneath us with a 26th, going around the outside of Benji May, but outside of the top 5 at the moment for the winner of elimination number 1. That's Alan Fedit. He's going to pass with the number 4 on his back.
Big crash there on that mark. Don't know who's gone down. Just saw a big splash. Oscar Leclerc there in 4th place. Ratotti fighting for first at the moment, currently chasing our leader.
And that is Romain Gio with the white helmet, who is our leader. Tomasi in 3rd coming through.
Yeah, looks like we've got a little battle for 4th between Leclerc and Escofet. And there's Capuzzo. He's not even on foil. I reckon he was the one that crashed.
Oh, again, the Italian. The dominator of wing foiling. This is not going to be his preferred conditions, light winds, as he resembles more of a rugby player than he does a wing foiler. He's a stocky lad, would work so well with high winds. I say one as I am one. And into now the pump zone, the final hurdle for final number 2, elimination number 2.
Yeah, we know Tomasi as well is a machine when it comes down to the pump section, but he's not gaining any ground. However, Ratotti is creeping up on the heat leader.
Oh, Ratotti makes contact with Romain Gio and just about gets back on the foil to keep his second position. Romain Gio from 15th in elimination 1 is our winner. We've got Escofet swimming as well now. It's really not working out for the Gong athletes with Capuzzo well down as well.
For Bastien as well to go down on that last corner after winning the elimination yesterday. That is not going to be a result he wanted, one that he will for sure want to discard. But what does it mean for Francesco Capuzzo now with 2 poor results? Well, you know, are we going to get to a point of 7 eliminations? Probably not, because 7 eliminations give you 2 discards. But really, we're looking to get that 4, and he'll only be able to get 1. So eliminate 2 bad results. However, now he has had 2 bad results. So definitely left the door wide open for the World Championship now. And with Bastian's collapse, you know, it's anyone's game.
Men's mini-final coming up then to score points from 11th down to the end. Athletes coming into the beach, interestingly. And there'll be a lot of emotions beachside now as they come in and take a short break, I imagine. But here is the entry list for the mini-final. Look out for number 10, Galito Estredo. Both Zorzi's in there. Look, Sebastiano Zorzi was second in elimination number 1. And he is in the mini-final in elimination number 2. Can do no better than 11th. Watch out for the 46.
Would love to be outside there right now with the riders coming in, sort of being a fly on the wall with the conversations that are going on.
Ratotti with a bit of contact with Roman Gio at the end. So that would be an interesting discussion to be had. He tried, and he was lucky not to fall in the water, actually. Came off the foil, didn't he?
Yeah, also, when it gets to it, you know, these foil boys, these slalom races, they really get revved up.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Good start.
Another purple wing on the far inside line. That's Sebastiano. No, that's not Sebastiano. That's Riccardo Zorzi. He's going to be closest to mark number 1, but he's too far back. And rounding mark number 1 with the yellow helmet is Thomas Proust, who just missed out, didn't he, on being in the main final. So it's Proust from Zorzi, and then Galito Estredo in 3rd position. Into mark number 2 then.
Yeah, Proust really looking comfortable out there in his setup, flying through the marks, showing a great amount of pace. For the riders as well, you know, there's not 10 out on the water, so it's not as crazy. There's only 7 of them out there in this mini-final.
I'm surprised not to see Sebastiano Zorzi anywhere in our shots. He's way, way back after that good result in elimination number 1. Change of position there. Estredo off the foil for a moment and losing a position to Zorzi.
Yeah, Zorzi looks like he went a little bit wide there, but he still keeps that position.
And now, round the mark, ignore that athlete on the left-hand side, standing on the sandbar, just getting out of the way for the moment, because there's not much space for the athletes to come back up and downwind, back to the top of the course. There's going to be all sorts of frustrations down on the beach. There is no doubt about that. Just seeing Capuzzo coming in. And we've still got this nice little battle for 3rd position. But out front, Proust is really in control. Into the pumping section, carrying good momentum in there. So it doesn't have to work too hard to keep the momentum up. And that's been done really, really nicely. In control. Has to switch his feet late. So has to go a little bit wider, giving a little bit of water up, but he still will take the victory. Oh, and mistake there from Sebastiano Zorzi.
Both of them.
Both of them now not foiling, and Jeremy Rodriguez comes past and steals 3rd position. It's so tough. After the pumping section, Rodriguez finishing 3rd, and 1 of 2 will be swimming to the line.
And now Galito's not even going to be able to get any wind because he's got the other rider there taking it all. An absolute killer there for both riders, you know. The 3rd place was up for grabs there, and Jeremy Rodriguez nipped it in the bud and took it. And Galito still really struggling to even get back up onto foil. Pretty much everyone in the fleet has passed him. And we go into sequence for another women's elimination.
Here is the highlights then of that mini-final. That purple wing of Riccardo Zorzi on the inside line, but Proust was faster around the outside to claim the whole shot. And through into the lead. It didn't really change. It was a good battle, though, for 4th position. Actually, there was another, there was Keenan Ursoy in that race that we didn't really see anything of. He must have been right out the back. And here's this battle then. Golito just having to stop, wings touching the water. Your winner coming out of the pumping section and towards the line. Having to give a bit of water there to Zorzi. Zorzi was tighter through the final turn. And a blast towards the finish. Turning left to go towards the beach. But then all hell was breaking loose further back. Nobody wanted to finish in 3rd position. These two tripping over each other as they came back to the transition. And look at that. Sebastiano Zorzi losing control of his wing.
Yeah, it looks like Golito. I mean, Golito could have just pumped a little bit further out and had a bit of a cleaner line coming in. As we're in now the last minute until the women's elimination number 4. So it's back-to-back action. Nia getting a clean start again. She's looking quick. Kylie taking her preferred outside line. She'll bear off downwind as she gains more speed. Viola there currently in 2nd, but most likely Kylie's going to pip her on this first mark. But Nia Suarez very fast and has good distance.
Viola has the inside line here. She has the overlap, and that's really going to compromise Kylie. She takes that 2nd position, but Kylie is stronger on the exit of the turn and now has the wind and now has the inside line, but it'll turn into the outside line again. So if Viola can stay there, she's really a bit of a disruptor for Kylie in this race. And she didn't have a good last elimination, Viola, but she did have a good day 1. Drops to 3rd now, but crucially, that little scrap will have relaxed the shoulders of Nia Suarez, who didn't have a good day 1, but at the moment is in control on day 2. What's now? Mar overlapping with Viola, but the course goes right, so Mar is on the outside line here.
She does have the wind over Viola. Viola changes her feet earlier than Mar. Mar deciding to opt and ride now toe side, but changes her feet very late. As you can see, loses speed because of that. Iran currently at the back in 5th.
Yeah, that worked out nicely for Viola. There's Kylie. She's too far back to do anything about Nia unless Nia has an issue. They're coming towards, they've got another 2 right lefts before they get to the pump track. And it's still scrapping over that 3rd position. Viola and Mar. Viola with that kind of white wing. Mar with the heavy dark blue and yellow. And again, working hard, coming out of the mark to stay up on the foil. In heavy winds, you just see them standing there, motionless almost. But in these winds, they're having to work the water over the foil to keep it working. A little bit wide from Viola. And now into the pumping section comes Nia Suarez.
Yeah, this 3rd place is going to be decided.
It's great.
It's going to be decided on the pumping section here.
Nia looks like she's completed it. She has. Just that transition, that turn towards the line. And Suarez is going to make it 2 out of 2 on day 2. Suarez takes the victory. Kylie in 2nd. Who will be in 3rd position? What a wonderful scrap for 3rd spot. And I think Viola Lipic has got it. Nice transition with the feet. Pumping towards the line. It is going to be close, but it is going to be the Austrian ahead of the Spaniard in 3rd.
What a race that was. Action from start to finish. Nia way out in front there on this elimination. But the real icing on the cake was that battle between Mar Diarse and Viola, where Viola getting over that 3rd place. Kylie 2nd, Nia 1st. As we now go back to those highlights, I think Kylie here has to change her approach on this start line. I think that wider, coming up from the outside into the inside line, it's just not doing her any favors. Nia's looking super fast off this start line. She's got the timing down to an absolute T. And I think now Kylie probably needs to reconsider how she's going to be starting these races.
Yeah, today it's not been good, has it? Not in comparison to how she managed it yesterday. Good and strong through the pumping section. The sailing is perfect. The pumping is great. Just the starts have let Kylie down today, and it hasn't opened the door for Nia, because Nia had a sixth position and a fifth and a third yesterday, whereas Kylie has still only had a second and a second today. So Kylie's had a first and a second and a second. She'll now be able to drop one, which she'll drop as a second, but Nia will have a first and a third, and so will still be in second position.
So we move now on to the men, I believe.
Well, no, they're all on the beach.
Yes, they are.
Nobody's out on the water. So, no idea what we are going to have next. And I suppose, therefore, we might as well take a break and join us in a few moments' time with more news.
You don't conquer fear by avoiding it. You conquer it by riding straight through. Because beyond fear is freedom. Trade fearlessly at capital.com.
Moving forwards then into elimination number 3 for the men and number 5 and 6 for the women. Here on day 2 of wingfoiling competition in the GWA on Fahid Island in Abu Dhabi. Just a stone's throw from the Yas Island development and seemingly a hotbed of holidaying at the moment. It is absolutely packed on Yas Island that of course has Warner Brothers World, Ferrari World, a massive mall, and the F1 racetrack that so many of the athletes were either running around or cycling around or go-karting around last night. Everyone thoroughly enjoying their time here in Abu Dhabi. Heat number 1 then of elimination 3 has our leader, Julian Ratotti, Alessandro Tomasi, our leader yesterday, Sosa Spanu, May, Proust, Zorzi, and Keenan Ursoy. And then heat number 2 will have the rest of the fleet. Top 5 go through into the final, and that's where they score points. Talking of points, it is Julian Ratotti that leads for the moment after 2 eliminations. He has 7 points in total over Bastien Escoffier, who finished only in 8th position in that second elimination. Of course, they're hoping to get to 4 eliminations so they can drop their worst score. That changes things a lot.
Yeah, worth noting as well in regards to these eliminations, you'll see that actually the better you do, the less points you get.
Yeah.
So it's actually the lowest total that you see on the far right-hand side there. And from top to bottom, we see Julian Ratotti, Bastien Escoffier, Alessandro Tomasi. They're our top 3, but have a look at number 11. Francesco Capuzzo, currently leading the rankings, has had 2 9th-place finishes.
Yeah, and only the top 6 will go through to the super final medal scoring positions, and that's where Capuzzo obviously needs to be. So he really needs a good result in elimination number 3. Yellow flag is up on the committee boat, so a couple of minutes before we get this elimination number 3 underway.
Tell you what, though, how about Ryan Gior?
Yeah.
15th place yesterday and 1st today.
So hopefully
turnaround.
We'll be dropping that 15th, ideally.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
And that can massively change things. Same with Bastien, you know. He's got a win yesterday and then an 8th position in elimination number 2. You want to drop that one as well. So whilst we can follow the points, until those drops are taken into consideration, the story is not totally clear.
Just the pages are slightly written at the moment.
Ratotti, a 5th and a 2nd. Tomasi, a 6th and a 3rd. Spanu, a 3rd and a 7th. Leclerc, an 8th and a 4th. All those athletes in the finals for both. The rest of our athletes have either been in a mini-final or in a final across just 2 eliminations. So a really mixed up field, and that's what happens when the wins are on the lighter side. Technique really comes in. And now squabbling over that bottom mark. They want to be as close to the yellow mark you can see on that picture as possible. That gives you the inside line into the first mark.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Great start from our fleet of men. Very, very close to each other. In the middle there, Julian Ratotti with the white wing. We've got 2 Veo wings as well. There's big red wings. At the front is a Gastra. And I think that might be Nicola Spanu.
Yeah, look at Alessandro Tomasi as well there in 5th place. Worth noting, just the top 5 here. So they're not battling, let's say, for first, but they do want to finish in the top 5 position. And it's tight for that 5th position as well, as you can see. But Alessandro Tomasi now in 4th place, peeling away a little bit more.
And real squabble over that 5th position. It is very, very tight.
Nicola Spanu flying out the front there. Ratotti in 2nd. I was chatting to Ratotti on the beach just a moment ago. He's on a 5.5 meter wing. So that's roughly what our riders are riding.
Oh, no. Got a couple of riders tripping over each other.
Looks like a massive hole in the wind as they all sort of went down together. Look, Alessandro Tomasi as well, barely keeping on that foil.
That was Benjamin May who dropped off, and I'm pretty sure that is the battle for 5th position. Here is the top 4 then. Proust leading. Yeah, yes, Thomas Proust leading. Or actually, maybe that was 2nd position, was it? Because I didn't think that Proust was leading early doors.
Benjamin May still not even up on the foil.
And there is Proust. Yes, he is our leader. Ratotti in second. Spanu in third position. Yeah, so really good sail here from Proust, who has not made it into the final so far. But it looks like he's going to have a passport to the final. There is Ratotti.
Yeah, you can see he's not really sort of having to push. He's just going to maintain that position. Even if he drops a place here, it's going to be enough to get him into that final. Top 5 make it through. The others go into that mini final.
Look how chilled Nicolas Spano is in third position. They're not pumping. They're not working hard here. They know they're safe. The question is what's going on for 5th position, because there was a lot of people swimming at one point.
Yeah, Benjamin May is still swimming as well. He's finding it impossible to get back up. He might even go down as a DNF on this one. As you can see here, changes the feet nice and fast.
Battle for second. Looks like Julian might give away second position there.
I think maybe that's Tomasi coming up on the pumping track, going to get that 5th place.
4th place for Tomasi.
And there's the 5th.
And there's the 5th. Now, same wing as Tomasi, so an RRD, so that must be Sebastiano Zorzi coming round the final mark. And that means Benji May out of that. Keenan Ersoy also out.
Ancor Sosa as well.
And Ancor Sosa, yes.
He was, in the last elimination we did, he managed just to quickly nip into the final on a rider's mistake on that last buoy. But this next heat in this elimination is extremely important for one rider in particular. Francesco Capuzzo cannot afford a mini-final.
Look how good that start was in the highlights of heat number 1. Out the back, though, was Sebastiano Zorzi. Here's the last wing. He's on the inside line, so he might not quite be at the back.
3, 2, 1.
And here is the start of heat number 2 then. Again, that purple wing of Riccardo Zorzi at the head of the field, but not as fast going towards mark number 1 as Oscar Leclerc. Leclerc through, but on the inside of him is the other Gastro rider of Roman Gio, having a really good day today. And again, we're not talking about Capuzzo. There he is.
Yeah, Capuzzo nearly had a little tumble or a crash there on that first mark. Oscar Leclerc's way out in front at the moment, battling it out and looking at through great speed through these marks. Bastien Escovet, you can see there as well in the top 3.
Gio fighting over the lead here with Leclerc. There's no need to do that. At least Bastien Escoffier in third position, chilling out. The 3 of them just need to chill out, not trip each other over, because off the foil, really hard to get back on. So there we go. They're all settling into a rhythm now. Remember, top 5 go through, so it's the battle for 4th and 5th position. And where is Francesco Capuzzo? There's our first 3 that go through the shot. Where is Capuzzo? There he is in 4th position, and with space around him.
Now it's all about the 5th position. Who is going to take that 5th spot? This looks like the battle for first. As you can see, Oscar Leclerc.
Oh, they're still fighting it out. It's a great race. If only it meant something.
Here we go. The next wing that comes from right to left. There we go. So it's a duotone rider that is in 5th place at the moment.
And that is Golito Estredo, because there is only one, I think.
Yep.
Benji May with a very different coloured duotone. And he was also in the other competition.
Yeah, it will be Golito then.
Still holding on to the lead. The red-helmeted Vio wing
Nice
of Oscar Leclerc.
From Bastien.
Bastien challenging for 2nd position, but it doesn't matter. If there's a risk to do so, then you don't want to do so. Roman Gio is the one he's challenging, and Gio sailed that nicely up towards the pump track. Again, slightly unconventional technique, holding the wing over his head, Oscar Leclerc, round that final mark. I think he's got slightly crossed up with his hands, but he comes towards the line, and Leclerc goes through. A win for him. Gio in 2nd position, Bastien Escoffier in 3rd. Now expecting to see Capuzzo come over the line in fourth. He does so, and it's Golito Estredo who will come over the line as long as he doesn't fall in the water here in fifth position. There are your 5 athletes progressing into the final of elimination number 3.
So yellow flag is up now for the women's elimination. So 2 minutes until the start of that heat. Currently today, Nia Suarez has won both the eliminations that we've done on the women's side. She'll be looking to do the hat trick. And there we go. There are your 5 women that we're taking into the water. We've got Nia Suarez, who is today the one to beat.
2 victories to Suarez, 2 victories to Belouve. Dropping your your worst score, your most points. So that's already taken into consideration, which just leaves a single point between Belouve and Suarez at the top. And then Lipic in third, with Mardelas at 4th position, a point behind Viola.
Yes, yellow flag's not there anymore, which tells us that there's less than a minute to go. And get ready for the green. Riders now making their way to this start line.
Much better start there from Kylie Belouve in that purple on the inside line. Nia Suarez, though, sailing faster towards that first mark, and looks as though Belouve was a little slower, too direct perhaps, going towards mark 1. She's lost a little bit of ground, and Viola Lipic has done a really good job there. She's going to round mark number 1 in second, but goes wide, giving Kylie lots and lots of space. Do not give that French lady any space, because she's going to take it. Oren Cerise ahead of Mar de Lars. Mar was one of the stars in Fuerteventura, but in this light wind, she's really struggling.
And interesting as well on this elimination that Kylie taking the different line on the start. We've seen her go wide and then bear away and come in, but this time she followed Nia's line. But as you can see, hasn't had too much of an effect on this one, because Nia Suarez is way out in front, and it's really a battle between second, third, fourth, and fifth, actually. You can see there Viola in third place, chasing Kylie. Just behind Viola, you have Mar now in 4th place, slightly gaining on a few inches with this straight.
Mar has more speed, doesn't she? Looking to try and take 3rd position. She's already snatched that 4th from Ceres, who had a good start. We haven't really seen much of Oran, unfortunately, still getting back up to speed in this discipline. But there is Suarez. Could it be 3 out of 3 today for the Spanish world champion? She has never been toppled from the top of the female category, but this year there's just 60 points between Suarez and Kylie Belouve. Suarez with 2 victories to her name in the 2 events. And what happens now is inconsequential when we get to the super final. There's Mar, still sitting in 4th position, so despite that pace, she wasn't able to snatch 3rd. And just what she needs to try and do is unsettle Viola ahead of her. Viola, the Austrian ski cross.
Mar a little bit late on the foot change there, but she does get the feet in the straps. And you can see as the course goes on, these markers become closer. And the pumping track follows. Nia Suarez is going to be first to enter that at the top of your screen, closely followed by Kylie, who is very, very solid when it comes to the pumping section.
It was stronger from Mar round that downwind mark, closest to the beach. Nia already in the pumping section, but a real scrap once again for 3rd position. These women are putting on great entertainment for us. Around the final mark for Nia Suarez, who nearly drops off the foil. Kylie having to work harder as well to try and chase her down, but it is Suarez who wins. Kylie in 2nd position, and Viola Lipic is going to do it again. She's worked really, really hard on this one, and she's held on ahead of Mar de Lars. 3rd position once again for the Austrian, and solidifies herself in 3rd after 5 eliminations. It was a great start from French lady Oren Cerise, but unfortunately, she has not managed to call it anything other than 5th position today.
Once again, Nia today in her league of her own. I'd love to see the setup maybe she's riding. Maybe she's changed something. She's changed maybe a foil or maybe just because the wind's a little bit stronger today. As you can see there, Kylie and Nia pretty much neck and neck crossing the start line, but Nia having a lot more pace going forwards. And then Kylie here nipping into second place, taking the inside line from Viola. And actually Mars sitting back in fifth.
Yeah, not a good start. And round that mark followed and had to be careful of Iran, and that really compromised it. But I wonder how much effort you put into these races. All 5 athletes are going to go through to the super finals, and that's where it counts. That's where the points are going to be distributed for the World Championship. So surely this is just glorified test sessions for them.
Well, what they're fighting for is that first win, because when we get through to the super final, basically all these women will be there, and you need to get 2 wins. And whoever wins these elimination process going into that super final automatically has the 1 win. So technically, let's say if Nia went through as the overall elimination winner and then won 1 super final heat, she would win the title. However, if let's say Kylie won the 2 super final heats, she would have 2 bullets and win.
Elimination number 3, the final has Thomas Pruss, winner of his heat. Julien Ratotti and Nicolo Spanu, Alessandro Tomasi, Sebastiano Zorzi, Oscar Leclerc, Romain Gio, Bastien Escoffier, and Capuzzo needs to take a victory here. Golito Estredo is the 10th athlete in this final, but Capuzzo sits in 11th position. He's been in all the finals, but he has been at the back of all the finals. There he is with the gong red wing, and he is the man that leads our World Championship. He cannot afford to be outside the top 6 positions, but it has really made his life difficult with a prediction of only 4 eliminations. We do have 3 days left of competition, so quite sure why, but we call it a result. We can call it a result at 4, and here come the athletes towards the line. It looks like Golito Estredo is out of position once again.
4, 3,
Going to be tight.
1.
Whoa, very, very tight. And right in the center of the screen with that red or pink helmet, Capuzzo having to slightly throttle back. It's tight with the pack.
Yeah, he's looking quick though. Look at that pink gong there and a good angle there from above, as we can see now riders coming up to this first mark. Who's going to get it? You can see there it's a mixture of the gong riders, also our RRD boys out there fighting hard. Ratotti there on the black and the white wing with Bastien Escoffier just passing him, but Capuzzo definitely looks to be out in front.
And it looks like Ratotti really struggling with the weight from the other riders around him, falling off the foil and dropping down to 6th position.
He's
Capuzzo leads. Is that Romain Gio in 2nd position? He's had a great day. And then Tomasi in 3rd spot.
Huge here from Capuzzo. He's had 2 shockers opening up on these eliminations. He's now in 1st place.
But look at Ratotti. It's really not fallen well for him. We've got Golito Estredo off the foil and into the water, I'm afraid, so he'll drop to the tail of the field. But Capuzzo now has control of this one. Absolutely in control.
Tomasi there going around the marker with Bastien Escoffier hot on his heels. Looks like there Oscar Leclerc coming around in 5th position. One of the Zorzi boys there in 6th. And Ratotti just nipping into 7th. As we go and follow from the eyes in the sky, Capuzzo still in 1st. All he needs to do now is just keep it together, but it can all go messy when we get towards this pumping track.
It is Gio in 2nd position, Tomasi in 3rd. Then that gap. There could be a change for 2nd, though. Lots of pressure from Tomasi here, who's had a 6th and a 3rd position so far in the 2 eliminations. Switch feet as they go into another tack. Remember, there's an extra 2 tacks over yesterday's course. It does look as though Tomasi working hard out of that turn to try and get up on the foil. The more the board moves around under the water like that, the more they're trying to create speed. And it is tight for 2nd.
Yeah, it looks like Capuzzo as well there went a little bit wide coming out of that turn. It's tight for 2nd. And also maybe even for 1st as we go into this pumping track.
Tomasi's been so good. Here's Capuzzo, though. And finally, those nerves have been settled. A 9th and a 10th position. He is losing ground to a very, very strong Romain Gio, but it's not going to be enough. And Capuzzo sails himself towards a victory and finally gets his campaign underway. But in 3rd position, Tomasi's off the foil. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose it to Bastien Escoffier, who comes towards the line. It's incredibly tight between the 2 athletes. I can't tell. And also struggling is Proust for 5th position. Julian Ratotti down in 7th spot in the end, having not a very good run of things. We've got a second GWA athlete in the water. That's Nicola Spanu, who hasn't actually got to the finish yet. But a couple of tight finishes there. We'll wait for the results to come up before we confirm exactly who was where. And here is the mini-final lineup. Anko Sosa, Benjamin May in there. Ricardo Zorzi, a second one. And Alan Fedit. Fedit was in the mini-final in elimination number 1.
Be very interested to see who took that 3rd place, because that could be key when it comes to the World Championship. It's really a battle between these riders, and that 3rd place could be maybe a deciding factor when it comes to these total scores.
Yeah, waiting for those results to be confirmed. I may even have to have a look at the video of the line to absolutely clarify exactly. But mini-final coming towards the line then. Getting themselves ready. Purple kite for Ricardo Zorzi in the center of the screen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Keenan Ersoy giving himself a lot of work to do with the red veil wing, and he drops to the tail of the field. But it is Ricardo Zorzi who is at the head of a good start for Jeremy Rodriguez with that north wing in 2nd position. He's going to be bullied out of the mark, though, by somebody coming up the inside of him, and does drop down 1 position. An RRD wing.
Alan Fedit there in 2nd place.
Fedit, yeah, okay. So Fedit down the inside. And then we've got a gong athlete. That must be Jack Raoul in 3rd position. So it didn't work well for Jeremy Rodriguez.
Not too well. We saw Benjamin May as well on the blue wing. He's in 5th.
Surprising. Ben with 2 progressions into the finals. He finished 10th in both of the main finals, but this is his first mini-final, and he's at the tail of that one as well.
A lot more, let's say, not relaxed, but, well, I guess it is a little bit more relaxed in this mini-final here, with the 7 riders, not the 10 that we saw in the main final.
Zorzi through in the lead. There is Jack Raoul in 3rd position, under pressure from Jeremy Rodriguez on the far, is it 6.5 north, 6.5 meter that is, for 3rd position. Sailing nicely down towards the next mark. Idea here, wide in, tight out. Try and steal a little bit of wind, try and work that foil. And Jeremy looks like a bigger wing, and he is just sailing past Jack Raoul, who's just not locked in. And that is Jeremy up to 3rd position. Great work there. Now, it's too far away, really, to change anything, but we know how tricky the pumping section of the track is. There is Ricardo Zorzi in 8th position at the moment, a 4th in elimination number 1 yesterday, but a 12th in number 2. Sits 8th position overall, but half a point away from 6th.
Yeah, that's really what they're fighting for now, isn't it? If they're in the mini-final, you had some good results previous. You know, you're fighting for the top place. You want to be in that top 6.
Zorzi then takes the victory in the mini-final. 2nd position. This is the battle for 3rd position. Jeremy Rodriguez has dropped off the foil after the pumping section, and Raoul steals it back from him. Stealing 3rd position. Fedit came over in 2nd position. Oh, and Rodriguez drops to 5th position. And it could be more. He hasn't actually quite finished and come across the line yet. He does now. There's Ben May, who's finished ahead of him. And Rodriguez finally comes over the line, frustrated with himself, no doubt. There's 2 other athletes still to cross the line behind. There they are, Keenan Ersoy. And who was the last of those athletes? Quite sure. Anko Sosa, perhaps.
Anko.
Yeah, really having a struggle.
Yeah, not Anko's day today.
Right then, elimination number 6 for the women coming up. So they've reset themselves back upwind. And with 6 eliminations, they are able to well, they're 1 off 7.
Yeah.
We're not going to get the 7th, I don't think. Although we've got another hour on the water, potentially.
Yeah, the daylight is not what I'm worried about right now. It's what happens with this wind. Typically around this time, we're seeing the wind drop. But red flag remains, so we are still in sequence now for elimination number 6 of the woman. Replay now from that mini final. Good start from all of our riders. You can see there Zorzi in the middle.
Starts are so important, aren't they?
So important. You can see there when Capuzzo he's had 2 bad starts and not having the results he wanted. As soon as he had a good start, he finishes in first. So it just goes to show how important the start of each race is.
There was Rodriguez sailing past Raul up to 3rd position, but then falling off the foil as they came through out of the pumping section. It's not actually the pumping section that's causing the problems. It's the transition back to sailing again. And there we go. And then has to work so hard to try and get back up on the foil. But through comes Jack Raul. Through comes Ben May, who's all in a switch position there. Rather than switching his feet, just because it's such a short blast towards the line, happy to sort of stay in that slightly awkward position rather than resetting. I think if it was a longer shoot to the line or another couple of turns afterwards, then he would be resetting, but seemingly happy to sit in that kind of slightly twisted position.
So Nia looking for her 4th elimination win in a row. Interesting to see. I'm interested to see how Kylie begins this elimination here. For sure, she's going to be chasing Nia on that inside line.
When that yellow flag goes down, we have 1 minute to go before the start of women's final number 6. There is the North athlete, Jeremy Rodriguez, coming in. Had a bit of a miserable weekend of it. A 16th and a 13th. And then that's going to be another sort of 15th or 16th in elimination number 3. We do need to get 4 eliminations for the men, so we can't call it yet. Whether that will be happening today or whether that will be saved for another day. The wind looks good for Friday and Saturday, maybe less so for Sunday, but there's still a freestyle competition they're hoping to be able to run. And we've got the wake foil as well, but that can be done in the morning when there is no wind. And there literally is no wind in the morning. It is beautiful lake conditions on this tidal sea, would you believe?
But you can see out in front as well with all the land. We've got the development going on there, straight ahead of the competition area as well. Keeps this area nice and flat.
5, 4, 3,
Look at Kylie and Nia.
2, 1.
Oh, fighting over the same piece of water. Nia Swadieth and Kylie Belouvre. That angle tells a very, very different story, doesn't it? But I think they're pretty close to each other. What's happened to Belouvre there? A little stumble and she's dropped to the tail. She's behind Viola Lipic coming into the first mark. And this is going to be another easy one for Nia Swadieth. Wide at the first mark. Maybe an opportunity for Mardel to sleep down the inside. No, she can't. But Kylie's off the foil. Kylie's off the foil in the inside mark. And Arenza Rees even passes her. What has happened on this last race? She can drop a bad score, of course. But this is going to be easy for Nia Swadieth unless Mar can put her under pressure. And we saw that a couple of times in Fuerteventura, that the two Spanish ladies would go up against each other.
Both coming out of Tarifa, train together, race together. And Kylie will definitely discard this race here. And Nia looking for the 4th win in a row today. Around here at the back, Viola in 3rd.
Mar looks good, you know.
She looks quick here.
Slightly wider into this mark, but that carries her more momentum through the turn to stay up on the foil. She's starting to get a little bit into the dirty air of Nia Swadieth, though.
Yeah, I tell you where Nia's pace is one for sure. As soon as she comes around these markers, she's so quick. It's like she goes into gear 5 straight away, and she's able to gain a bit more momentum. Kylie now going into 4th. She just has to keep her fingers crossed that Nia takes a tumble at some point on that pumping.
Nia properly gave up on that first race. Remember when she dropped off the foil?
Yeah.
She just sat in the water and gave up. Whereas Kylie is moving up one position. Okay, it's expected to be a drop score, but she is now in fourth, whereas Nia has a fifth to her name. Ma stalking Swadiev here, both with very similar kits. Boards are different, slightly more sort of racing style board for Swadiev. Slightly stubbier, traditional board for Ma Delath behind. I'm just got to be careful not to lose too much momentum out of those turns. This is elimination number 6. It counts towards points into that super final. Where is Nia going? Going very, very wide. Ma can sneak up the inside here. Gives her a better angle, and maybe that's to help her transition out of the pump track, but Ma has far less water to cover. Okay, it has worked for her.
It has worked, yeah. I think maybe going for the slightly wider approach and then cutting in throughout the pumping track. But there's a battle for third going on. Kylie there just nipping past Viola on the last mark of this course. Getting that third place. Impressive how much ground she gained there. But there we go.
Into the water then our women go. After 6 eliminations, there is one more to go, although there is a new rule that was written. They don't need to get to 7, if I seem to remember. Well, they don't need to get to 7 anyway, do they?
No, but it gives them 2 discards there as Nia Suarez comes in. Looks pretty exhausted. Ma there on her left. Good angle to sort of see the foils. The masts are so long on this racing setup. As they all now head into the beach.
Well, all of our athletes back out of the water and back onto the beach. The wind starting to die off at the end of the day. It's just coming up to 5 o'clock local time. There is Nina Thwadias, who's taken 4 victories in today's work. It was a horrible day 1, but it's been a marvelous day 2 for the world champion of last year.
Yeah, what all the guys will be doing as well now is they'll be checking their seeding for the elimination number 4. So we obviously have a reseed depending on their results. So that'll be why the men aren't on the water just yet. They'll be waiting for the reseed and seeing what heat they're in, whether it's heat 1 or heat 2. And then hopefully we'll be able to get back underway and get that 4th elimination that we so desperately need for the men's division.
Whilst we wait, and Kylie just gathers her thoughts, let's take a quick break and we'll be back with you once we know more.
You don't conquer fear by avoiding it. You conquer it by riding straight through. Because beyond fear is freedom. Trade fearlessly at capital.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We are going into elimination 4 for the men's. It's just quarter past 5 in the evening here in Abu Dhabi off Fahid Island. The day is nearly over, but we've still got plenty of racing to come. We are going to offer you also some more women's races. How many of the eliminations they will manage, we're not totally sure, but here is the lineup for heat number 1 of elimination number 4. Gio Tomasi Zorzi, Sebastiano that is, Ratotti in this first one, Golito Estrado, not sure he's going to feature because he's actually a long way downwind. Ricardo Zorzi, Benji May also struggling to get up to the start position, and Jeremy Rodriguez. 2 athletes really out, not this direction, but completely the opposite direction. Such has been the challenge to get the guys off the beach and up to the starting position. There is the start line. There is no athletes around the start box for the moment. We've still got 2 minutes remaining. Wonder if we can have a look to see where it stands then. Tomasi is leading from Bastien Escofet. Ratotti, Oscar Leclerc, Gio, Spanu, and Capuzzo, and Zorzi. But that is your top 8 without drop scores. Once they have completed this elimination number 4, then drop scores will be taken into consideration. The likes of Sebastiano Zorzi already with a 14th position. He'll be wanting to drop that. If he does, that will put him right up there because he's got a 2nd and a 6th. So that's way more positive than Capuzzo, for instance, who has a 9th 2 9ths and a 1st. So he's going to have to carry at least one of those 9ths. If we stick to elimination, if we stick to 4 eliminations, there is the possibility to do 7 if you want, if race control desires. They're not going to do it today, but they could tack it on if they feel there is the possibility tomorrow or indeed into the weekend, because there's 3 days left of competition in Wingfoil. So we don't have to stop after 4 if race control feel there is the conditions for it.
Yeah, that 7th spot as well with Capuzzo. He's just 1 out of the qualifying for the super final at the moment. So bit surprised as well. I mean, the wind is definitely starting to get on the very extreme light side, but we have got the best riders in the world, and they're able to, showcase just how good they are being up in these types of conditions.
And we saw a couple of guys out on the beach, Liam, changing their foils, including our leader, Alessandro Tomasi.
Yeah, I mean, with the lighter conditions, changing some of your kit can help and make it that little bit easier. But, when it's nice and small as well, you do have a lot of speed.
Oh, dear.
Looks like one of the Zorzi boys there.
And off we go in racing, and only 4 athletes across the line, so all 4 will go through. Looks like Ricardo Zorzi there was caught up with the committee boat there. And as I said, Benji May has not made it up to the start line. Neither has Golito Estrado. So a race for nothing here, because all 4 athletes are going to go through. And if Ricardo Zorzi can get himself away from that committee boat and sail the course, he will also progress into the final. Just the luck of the draw.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle. We want to see what's happening for 5th place, really, on this race. Not worried about these front 4. We know they're going to go through.
Zorzi versus the anchor line is the real story of this one. I did actually see him up on his foil.
Yeah,
there he is. And so he's got going again. Well, not quite. And these athletes are tired as well, and the energy it takes to get yourself up onto the foil, especially in light winds. Once you're up there, it's actually not so bad.
No.
You just got to stay up.
Yeah. Once you're up, you're good to go. You just got to keep it together, especially when it comes to the sort of the end of the course, when the marks get a little bit tighter, the straights aren't as long, and then you've got that all but difficult pumping section just before the last mark. But here we go. Are these 2 riders in front of Zorzi is my question.
Yes, they are. So that's Jeremy Rodriguez, who is leading. There's Ratotti. So these are the 4 riders that took the start. And then there's a big gap to the 5th position. And I think we should have had 7, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so that makes sense then, that I can see out my window, actually. Benji May now making his way upwind. The 2 athletes that should have been in this, they will be going up to score points in the mini-final, but they will not score in this.
And Zorzi now has finally got himself up onto foil, but he's not in that 5th spot.
He must be.
No, we've got a Gastra in front of him.
So Rodriguez leads. Tomasi, I think, is that in second position?
Yeah.
It's quite complicated from the low down shot because there's wings all over the place doing different things. Not all of them in the racing. The drone showing us exactly who is in the racing. Coming up towards the pumping section of the track. Now, carrying momentum into here is great if you have it. And the lighter conditions mean it's going to be slower into this section. Rodriguez is going to take a win here. And Rodriguez hasn't been in the main final yet. Oh, he's dropped off the foil, though.
No.
So Massey comes around the outside of him. No panic, though. He won't know it, but there's only 5 athletes in this race. So as long as he gets to the finish, there's Ratotti. He comes around into second position. And another of the RRD athletes, Sebastiano Zorzi, will cross the line.
Got to be careful here, though, because I reckon Zorzi...
So that's 3 across the line.
Zorzi's going to be up on foil, as well as Romain.
And Ratotti still working. Now, is Rodriguez just going to float towards the line? Is he going to finish? If he doesn't finish, does he still progress to the final? No, he can't do.
No, I think we've got riders still up on foil, just a little bit further back.
So where's the purple wing of Riccardo Zorzi? That's the question. And
there he is. He's at the top there. Top of your screen now on the right. He's up on foil. The 2 of them are. He's actually, I believe, in 6th spot at the moment.
Oh, unless that's Kylie. Because he doesn't seem to be following any type of a course.
That's Romain and Zorzi there.
Ah, yes, okay.
And they're battling for 5th place. And if Jeremy Rodriguez doesn't get up onto his foil, he could as well be overtaken. Look, he's still down as well. It's a little bit messy in these lighter conditions now.
Roman Gio, I didn't realize he was so far back. And over the line they go. Is that the line?
That is the line. We didn't see them on the pumping track.
We didn't see them on the pumping track. So have they actually completed the course? Confusing. Ah. Right, okay. So just hearing from race control that that race was cancelled. I'm pretty sure it started, though. But it was cancelled because the athletes were not able to get up to the start. Only 4 started, and maybe it got cancelled because out of the entry, only 4 were able to finish. And so all of that work done by our athletes at the front, but it counts for nothing. And it means that elimination number 4 is cancelled, and we will have to go again tomorrow. Great effort from all of our athletes to get themselves up to the starting position. Well done. But unfortunately, it counts for nothing. Thank you very much for joining us. We will have more Wingfoil action for you, I think, tomorrow. So make sure you join us then. For now, though, goodbye.